Sir, they can cut the chain off the door, but they can't make us play.
We've decided we're gonna finish what you started, sir.
Yeah, so leave us be, coach. We got to do, sir.
Hello and welcome to a new episode of RT Essentials. I'm Mark Ellis. Sports movies have become a huge part of the cinematic landscape through the years, with so many great ones that they can be broken down by individual sport, and the lists go on and on. I even have 5 favorite golf movies right now. How is that possible? It's Tin Cup over Caddyshack, slightly. But today we're taking it to the hardwood, setting some picks and looking for an open man in the paint, lacing up our high tops, doing some layup drills, and draining some deep threes that would make Steph Curry proud. Okay, enough with the references. I think you get it. I won 4 rec league championships here in Los Angeles. And today we're talking about the best basketball movies of all time, and they are total slam dunks. I had to say it. What do you want? Hoop Dreams.
Your role today, Arthur, is to impress the coaches. Try not to be too fancy. To take the open shot when you have it. Play good defense and make good passes. The rest of it, just play natural, you know.
I hope you got a good night's rest, because we're going for a trip back to the 1990s for the first film on this list, 1994's Hoop Dreams. This documentary was directed by accomplished documentarian Steve James, and it centers around William Gates and Arthur Agee, 2 black teenagers who were recruited to St. Joseph High School in Westchester, Illinois, a predominantly white high school with a stellar basketball program. The film touches on issues concerning race, social class, education, and more as the 2 teenagers deal with changes like a long commute, tough practices, and a new social environment. We also watch as their families handle all the highs and lows while supporting each other on the way. The project initially began as a 30-minute short film produced for PBS, which was eventually nominated for a Daytime Emmy Award under the name Higher Goals. And the making of that special led to 5 years of filming and roughly 250 hours of footage that went into making this documentary. Hoop Dreams premiered at the Sundance Film Festival in 1994, where it won the Audience Award for Best Documentary. And while it was only the second documentary film ever to get an Oscar nomination for Best Film Editing, it wasn't nominated for Best Documentary. And that controversy led to an overhaul of the nomination process for the whole category.
Bob Gibbons done seen me play my best game out here and turned in 16 points, 12 assists. Bob Gibbons over there like this. Yeah, I was smiling too, Bob.
Those are humble roots for a film that was added to the National Film Registry of the Library of Congress in 2005. And with that is a critics' consensus that recognizes it as one of the most critically acclaimed documentaries of all time, calling it a rich, complex, heartbreaking, and ultimately deeply rewarding film. Hoosiers.
Don't get caught up thinking about winning or losing this game. If you put your effort and concentration into playing to your potential, to be the best that you can be, I don't care what the scoreboard says at the end of the game, in my book, we're gonna be winners. Okay?
Now we'll make the cross-court pass from the 90s over to the 80s and into the state of Indiana for 1986's Hoosiers. This legendary basketball flick was directed by David Onspaw in his directorial debut, who would go on to direct another epic sports movie with a different game in 1993's Rudy. Hoosiers stars Gene Hackman as failed college coach Norman Dale, who gets a shot at a comeback when he lands a job running the basketball program for a high school in a small Indiana town. But after a teacher, played by Barbara Hershey, convinces a star player to quit and focus on his studies, Coach Dale has trouble building a winning squad. On top of that, the community already doesn't love his temper or his surprising choice for an assistant coach, the town drunk named Shooter, played by Dennis Hopper. The film was inspired by the 1954 Milan High School team in Indiana, where they held a single state basketball championship from 1954 until 1997, as opposed to the usual practice of dividing schools up based on enrollment size with separate championships. It took nearly 2 years before producers could finally secure investors for this film, finally getting a budget of around $6 million. Then it went and grossed over $28 million. Impressive for a film that had to change its title to Best Shot in some international markets, because few outside the US knows what a Hoosier is. Along with receiving an Oscar nomination for Best Original Score, Dennis Hopper was nominated for Best Supporting Actor, but he lost out to Michael Caine for Hannah and Her Sisters.
You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds, all right? Be patient. Work for the good job. You got it?
Come on.
Team! Let's go, guys. Come on. Let's go, Scott. Let's go. Scott. God wants you on the floor.
But it wasn't all good news after the film's release, because 5 college athletes who portrayed basketball players were suspended by the NCAA after it was determined they had been paid to play basketball, thus making them ineligible. Dude, seriously? Ugh. The critics' consensus for this certified fresh classic is that it may adhere to the sports underdog formula, but Hoosiers has been made with such loving craft and features such excellent performances that it's hard to resist. The heart of the game.
I'm sitting there thinking, do I want this head coaching job? What have I done to myself?
As soon as we get the ball, scream timeout, and then I'll give you incredible words of wisdom.
The next film on this list has got some serious heart, and not just in the title. This is 2005's The Heart of the Game. This documentary film was narrated by rapper and actor Ludacris and directed by Ward Cyril, who followed the Roosevelt Rough Riders girls basketball team in Seattle over the span of 6 seasons to capture their story. The doc profiles Bill Ressler, a tax law professor at the University of Washington, who becomes the new girls basketball coach for the Rough Riders. And using nature and animal themes as part of his coaching style to motivate his players, Coach Ressler is confident they have what it takes to win a Washington State championship.
I've never really had anyone try to motivate me by pretending I'm an animal trying to eat someone else.
We work as a team! We hunt as a team! What do we do tonight? Have fun!
Something's wrong with you.
The film also focuses a lot on Darnelia Russell, one of the team's few black players, as she faces major obstacles to try and stay on the team. Because after drumming up interest from some major universities, she becomes pregnant after her junior year and drops out of school. A couple years after the movie was released, the Rough Riders moved on from Coach Ressler, and despite beating the odds and making it to college to play basketball, Darnelia ended up quitting the team to spend more time with her family. But it was their journey displayed in the certified fresh hit that had critics buzzing, like BBC.com's Stella Papamichael, who said, "It's packed with left field twists and turns, and in the end, it's all you can do to not stand up and cheer." And the overall critics' consensus says that this group of high school girls and their eccentric basketball coach easily win your heart with their unusual humanity and dynamism. The Way Back.
Look, you're nervous. I get that. The truth is, they got more talent over there than we do. But I got a better coach. But I promise you, they are not a better team. I would take anyone on this bench right now for any one of those players. You worked hard to be here. You earned this. Have some fun out there. Or go out there and earn the playoffs.
We may be moving ahead in time for this next movie, but we're still going back, as in 2020's hoops drama, The Way Back. The film was directed by Gavin O'Connor, who also directed the 2004 hockey classic Miracle and previously worked with this film's star, Ben Affleck, on 2016's The Accountant. Speaking of Affleck, in this film he portrays one-time high school basketball star Jack Cunningham, who years later finds himself in a meaningless job and struggling with alcoholism, which has already taken his marriage and his hope. But he gets a shot at redemption when he's hired as the head basketball coach for his alma mater, a program that's also fallen on hard times since Jack's glory days. The movie was originally titled The Has-Been, and then later Torrance, before settling on The Way Back, which hit theaters on March 6, 2020. And if hearing that date makes you panic a little bit, it's for good reason. That's right when the COVID-19 lockdowns began. So it became available to own digitally a couple weeks later, but obviously struggled with its box office numbers.
Forget that. Take the shot. Don't nod your head at me. I got this.
Affleck, who reportedly gained around 30 pounds for the role, talked later about how the project served as a form of therapy for him following his own issues with alcoholism and rehab. And the result was what The Atlantic's David Sims called the rawest and most natural performance Affleck has given in his career, echoing the overall critics' consensus for this certified fresh film, which says, The Way Back's occasionally frustrating treatment of a formulaic story is often outweighed by Ben Affleck's outstanding work in the central role. Love and basketball.
If I win, it's because deep down you know you're about to make the biggest mistake of your life. And deep down you want me to stop you.
And what happens when you lose?
If I lose, I'll buy you a wedding present.
Next up on this list is a basketball movie you're sure to love, and that's 2000's Love and Basketball. In the film, Sanaa Lathan and Omar Epps star as Monica and Quincy, or Q, childhood friends and next-door neighbors growing up in Los Angeles, where they both aspire to be professional basketball players. Quincy's father, Zeke, played by Dennis Haysbert, is an NBA player, so Quincy has had a much easier road to stardom and success than Monica, who's had to work hard to establish herself. Over the years, the two find ways to challenge and balance each other while eventually falling for one another. But of course, their basketball dreams are on separate paths, making it harder for them to stay together. Spike Lee was among the producers for this film, which was written and directed by Gina Prince Bythewood in her directorial debut. She said her goal when writing this semi-autobiographical film was to do it black when Harry met Sally.
They want you.
The film performed decent at the box office and has built a cult following through the years since. It could be the Major League 2 reunion with Omar Epps and Dennis Haysbert, or the appearance of Gabrielle Union as Q's high school girlfriend, or the fact that Epps played a character named Q once before in the 1992 Tupac movie, Juice. Or maybe it's because people love and basketball, and I'm one of them. Critics called this certified fresh flick a winner, with a consensus that its confident directing and acting deliver an insightful look at young athletes. While the Chicago readers Lisa Alspector further praised Lathan and Epps, saying they reveal their characters' motives with nuances of expression that transcend the dialogue. He got game.
I want you to go to big state, son. That's the real reason why I'm out here. That's the reason they let me out. You find it in your heart to go to big state, and they may let me out on an early parole.
So that's what this is all about, huh?
That's a part of it. That's
Jack, you just like everybody else.
Like everybody else. I ain't like everybody else. Everybody else ain't your father. Everybody else ain't bring you in this world. Everybody else don't care about you, son.
The next movie on this list combines an NBA star and a Hollywood all-star with an absolute basketball fanatic for a director. And the result is 1998's He Got Game. The sports drama was produced, written, and directed by Spike Lee, who's been a courtside fixture at NBA games for years and even likes to talk trash with some of the players, Reggie Miller, amongst others. Denzel Washington plays Jake Shuttlesworth, father of the top-ranked basketball prospect in the country, Jesus Shuttlesworth, played by budding NBA star at the time, Ray Allen. Jake is in prison for killing his wife, but is released on parole for a week so he can try to convince his son to play college ball for the governor's alma mater, with Jake getting a reduced sentence as a reward. Kobe Bryant was the original choice to play Jesus Shuttlesworth, but after a tough exit from the playoffs that year, he was focused on an extensive offseason workout plan instead. Tracy McGrady was also considered, but Spike Lee thought he was a bit too reserved. Allen Iverson, Kevin Garnett, and Stephon Marbury were also considered. Spike Lee reportedly pitched the film to Ray Allen during halftime of a Bucks-Knicks game and ended up offering him the role of Jesus. Allen, a first-time actor, then trained with an acting coach for 8 weeks prior to filming.
Have fun at the camp. And remember, use basketball as a tool.
Love, Mommy. P.S. Your sister misses you badly.
And when you get home, please be nice to her. Big brothers have to protect their little sisters.
The rest of the cast includes names like Ned Beatty, Jim Brown, John Turturro, and Rosario Dawson in just her second film role after 1995's Kids. Plus cameos from NBA stars like Reggie Miller, Shaq, Charles Barkley, and even MJ himself, which stands for Michael Jordan. The certified fresh film was considered a box office flop, coming up a couple $1 million short of its $25 million budget. But that didn't stop the critics from raining down praise, with a consensus that He Got Game finds Spike Lee near the top of his game, combining trenchant commentary with his signature visuals and a strong performance from Denzel Washington. How good is this movie? So good that me, a Spurs fan who watched Ray Allen break my heart, can still watch it because we got the heat back the next year. White Men Can't Jump.
Chump, I'm talking to you. What, you deaf or something? Talking to the
My name ain't Chump, it's Billy Hoyle.
Billy Hoyle. Billy Hoyle. Billy Hoyle. Okay, Billy. Now, can you count to 10, Billy?
Yeah. Good. What's the score, Billy? I don't know.
then you're a chump.
I mean, be a chump. I just said that wasn't my name.
Up next is a movie that will either make you want to go play a game of pickup basketball or go be a contestant on Jeopardy! What else could it be? It's White Men Can't Jump. This film stars Woody Harrelson as Billy Hoyle, a basketball hustler who counts on players underestimating his skills. And when he's able to con Sidney Dean, played by Wesley Snipes, out of some money, Sidney sees an opportunity for them to make some money together as partners, hustling for dough on the courts of Los Angeles. Snipes and Harrelson played teammates once before in the 1986 high school football comedy Wildcats, their film debuts. So not only were they comfortable with each other, they also had some serious chops on the court. This, according to former NBA player and Hall of Famer Bob Lanier, who had served as a consultant and coach for the film and was seriously impressed with their skill level. Off the court, Harrelson's Billy is also trying to stay clear of some mobsters he owes money to, while supporting the dream of his wife, played by Rosie Perez, to be on Jeopardy! And if the next thing that popped into your head was foods that start with the letter Q, you'll be happy to know that that became an actual category on an episode of Jeopardy! In 1997. I would have aced that. Come on, put me on the show.
What are you worried about? I'm in the zone, man. I'm in the zone. They're off. I'm in the zone.
Billy, this is not about black and white. This is about money. This is about green. You got that?
The film was written and directed by Ron Shelton, known for the many films he's made about sports, like 1996's Tin Cup and 1988's Bull Durham. And Charlie Sheen, no stranger to sports movies, was the first choice for the role of Billy Hoyle, with David Duchovny and Keanu Reeves also considered. Wow, I mean, whoa. And if you want more white men who can't jump, don't look at me, I can still touch the rim. But Kenya Barris has been developing a remake of this film since as far back as 2017, with NBA star Blake Griffin and NFL star Ryan Khalil attached as executive producers. I just don't know if I want him to do it. All right, give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. The critics loved this certified fresh classic, with a consensus that White Men Can't Jump provides a fresh take on the sports comedy genre with a clever script and a charismatic trio of leads. Finding Forrester.
Perhaps your skills do extend a bit farther than basketball. And now, if we can turn to... You may be seated, Mr. Coleridge. Turn to page 120 in the little blue book that I'm certain...
Further.
I'm sorry?
Don't.
You said my skills extend farther than the basketball court. Farther relates to distance. Further is a definition of degree. You should have said further.
I could tell you the title of this next movie, or I could just say, "You're the man now, dog." And of course you would know this is 2000's Finding Forrester. From director Gus Van Sant, known for films like 1989's Drugstore Cowboy and 1997's Good Will Hunting, this one focuses on the unique relationship that forms between a reclusive novelist named Forrester, played by Sean Connery, and a young and gifted student athlete named Jamal, played by Rob Brown. After Forrester learns that Jamal's writing talents rival those he has on a basketball court, he secretly takes Jamal on as his protege and eventually his friend. They learn plenty about themselves and each other as their relationship evolves, and ultimately, Jamal is faced with a choice on what path his life is going to take. During development for the project, Bill Murray was considered for the role of Forrester before Connery was cast. And while this film is not based on a true story, critics and even Connery himself have compared his character to a real-life writer, J.D. Salinger. When it comes to the Jamal character, Rob Brown only auditioned for a small part in the film, hoping to make enough money to pay his cell phone bill, but instead, he was cast in the lead. And then he went on to appear in another film on this list, 2005's Coach Carter.
Yes! You're the man now, dog.
The famous line from the film, "You're the man now, dog," actually served as inspiration for a popular internet site and has been a staple of pop culture for 2 decades, as odd as that may be. And since it was reported that NBC is developing a TV series adaptation of the film, produced by NBA star Steph Curry's Unanimous Media, something tells me we're going to be hearing that line for some time to come. The film is certified fresh with a critics' consensus that points out the predictability of its plot and its similarity to Good Will Hunting, but says that Finding Forrester has an honest, solid feel to it and good rapport between Connery and Brown. More than a game.
We're playing these highly ranked teams in the country, and we're winning 100 to 50.
And the Irish roll away the Bulldogs 76-36.
80 to 35.
St. Vincent St. Mary's dominates again, 78-49.
Long before he was the star of the Space Jam reboot, LeBron James was the centerpiece of this 2008 documentary, More Than a Game. The film focuses on 5 young basketball players, including LeBron James, and their coach Drew Joyce II, who are all part of an emerging AAU team. We see them go from preteens to high school, following their journey as an unknown Ohio team that rises to the top of youth basketball. But along with that rise is the rapidly growing stardom of future NBA superstar LeBron, which looms over their heads and threatens to tear apart everything the team has worked so hard to achieve. It's a pretty cool look at a young LeBron, who's gone on to have arguably one of the best NBA careers of all time. James is the only player to win an NBA championship with 3 different franchises, winning a total of 4 NBA rings and 2 gold medals to go along with his many other accolades.
He went to Philly, played Strawberry Mansion, which was the best team in Philly, had the best scorer in high school basketball in Philadelphia, more than Wilt Chamberlain. And we dominated them.
And while the team in this movie only produced 1 superstar, the soundtrack is filled with them, featuring performances from artists like Drake, Mary J. Blige, Jay-Z, Ye, Lil Wayne, and Eminem, amongst others. And whether it was the music, the film's dramatic stories, or both, the critics were feeling it with this one, with Chris Wagner from the Dallas Morning News saying that it's more than a feature-length profile of LeBron James, and that's good news, with an overall critics consensus calling it an inspiring documentary featuring likable youngsters, a positive message, and some exciting in-game footage. Coach Carter.
If you listen and learn, you will win basketball games. And gentlemen, winning in here is the key to winning out there. This contract states that you will maintain a 2.3 grade point average. You will attend all your classes, and you will sit in the front row of those classes.
And finally, entering the game in the final moments to bring us home a W, from North Carolina, number 23. Sorry, I got carried away. It's the 2005 drama, Coach Carter. This film is based on the true story of a high school basketball coach named Ken Carter, who made waves in 1999 after suspending his undefeated basketball team due to poor academic results. Samuel L. Jackson stars as Coach Carter, who returns to his old high school in Richmond, California, to get the basketball team into shape. He succeeds in setting the players on a winning streak using tough rules and discipline, but when their grades start to decline, Coach Carter locks them out of the gym and shuts down their championship season. He faces criticism from the players and their parents, but he sticks to his principles, insisting that they should excel in class as well as on the court. The film has a strong sense of accuracy, considering the real Coach Carter was on set every day as a consultant and has said that Samuel Jackson's portrayal of him was nearly perfect.
Gentlemen, you told me you deserved to be here. Well, you're not playing like it. All season long, we played our game. Right now, you're playing theirs. When we step on the floor, every second that clock is ticking, we are pedal to the metal. We run the ball, we pressure the ball, and most importantly, we control the tempo of the game. We make them play Richmond Oiler ball.
And along with Mr. L. Jackson, the cast includes Finding Forrester's Rob Brown, along with Channing Tatum in his feature film debut, and singer Ashanti, who was nominated for Breakthrough Female Performance at the 2005 MTV Movie Awards, but lost to Rachel McAdams for Mean Girls. That is so not fetch. The film itself was nominated for Best Sports Movie at the 2005 ESPY Awards, but lost to Friday Night Lights. Either way, fans and critics were into this true story, with a critics' consensus that it's effective and energetic thanks to a strong central performance from Samuel L. Jackson. How's that for a buzzer beater, huh? He shoots, he scores. Sorry, I got a lot of basketball terminology floating up here. Anyway, that's our list of the best basketball movies. What do you think? Did we throw up a few bricks, or were these 10 flicks nothing but net? See, I just can't help myself. Like when I remind people that Teen Wolf and The Fish That Saved Pittsburgh definitely should have been on this list. All right, I'm gonna dribble on out of here and go ice my knees. Thanks for checking out RT Essentials. I'm Mark Ellis, and my go-to move is the fadeaway.